Okay, welcome back to My Mother's Diaries. I'm here with Clod again, and I'm really liking doing the intros with you.
Yes.
And I think it's because we are now finally getting in the groove of how we're going to be doing these.
We are grooving.
We recorded the first 4 all in a row, so now we kind of like know what we hate about them and what we liked about them. So
Correct.
this episode is called Dear Oprah, as the title states, and it's just that. It starts with a letter my mom wrote to Oprah in the 90s or the 80s?
1994.
1994. I was 4 years old. I have never read this before. I'm very excited. And my mom, as most, I think, boomer moms, was obsessed with Oprah.
I was. I watched every episode, I think.
Yeah, and her dream was always to be on Oprah.
I would have liked
Be a
to
part
be
of
on Oprah.
Be a part of Oprah. Shout out to Oprah. But yeah, so I guess let's just dive in. We're reading My Mother's Diary. Dear Oprah, last winter, my children and I ventured to the local ice skating rink for the first time. Before I knew it, Ryan and Hillary were gliding across the ice, while I was still wrestling with my skates. Finally, I slowly, very slowly, stood up and shuffled my way to the ice, ankles wobbling, heart pounding, previous sports memories nearly paralyzing me. The 6th grade classmates who always chose me last for softball, the junior high gym teacher who affectionately called me Clod, the swimming teacher who tried to no avail teach me to dive, the college instructor who responded everything when I asked her during my last tennis class what exactly I was doing wrong, the date who told me I couldn't dance, and the student who volunteered to teach me how to roller skate with this encouraging line, "Come on, Miss B, I'll help you. You can teach an old dog new tricks." That is amazing. Savage.
Yeah.
When I finally made it to the ice, I hesitated a moment, then made a gallant effort to glide forward. "Come on, Mom, you can do it," my 7-year-old yelled just as I clung to the ground. I twisted off my skates, stumbled stiff-limbed back to the bench, and pondered the remote possibility that I would ever be able to do anything requiring some degree of athletic prowess. "I propose you do a show where you give ordinary, non-athletic people like me athletic makeovers, during which they work intensely on getting in touch with their bodies in terms of building and strengthening their athletic abilities. Perhaps the show could feature before and after profiles of people who lack coordination and athletic self-confidence and who, through special training, eventually achieve success in some athletic front, however modest. Furthermore, this show could touch on such issues as the impact the lack of athletic ability, coordination, and self-confidence has had on the quality of their lives and the lives of their children in terms of physical health and overall well-being. I suspect such a show would appeal to millions of closet klutzes. Those of us who fear venturing into any situation which requires physical participation and whose lives are therefore hindered in some respect. Yesterday, I asked my father and brother, athletes both, if they had any idea how difficult it is to be so non-athletic. "No," my brother chuckled. "You make it look so easy. Please let me have the last laugh. Please give me an athletic makeover. Sincerely yours, Lynn Bonzi." Okay, first of all, this is my first thought.
Okay.
Well, first of all, iconic. Second of all, I feel like you pioneered these reality shows in which this basically happens.
I never saw a reality show where they gave people athletic makeovers.
No, but they do like the weight loss.
They stole my idea?
Yeah, they took it from Oprah.
No, she was already doing weight loss ones.
But this is so good, and I want to see this show. And I want you on it so bad. And the way you said this, how it affects your children, makes me die. Because, if anything, you being non-athletic has brought me great joy.
Because?
Because you're a klutz. You've given me stories galore. And the one thing she is decently good at, and we haven't played in a while, is ping pong.
I can play ping pong.
Yeah, ping pong is like where you thrive.
Oh, I thought you were going to explain to them what ping pong was.
Ping pong's where you have a small paddle and you hit a tiny little ball back and forth.
Sorry, that's how my brain works.
Wow. So what prompted you to write this? Just your overall general feeling of being uncoordinated and a general klutz. What did you say? A closeted klutzes, which I love. I want that to be the name of the show. What if you host the show?
Yeah, now I'd have to host it because I'm almost in my 8th decade. So I think what motivated me to write it.
Moted you?
Did I say moted?
I think what moted me to write it. Call me a wabbit.
I think what motivated me to write it was that she was doing she would do these makeover shows, and I'm not sure when the advent was of like home makeovers and stuff, if they went back to the early 90s, but they probably did.
Have we talked about how we went to an extreme home makeover?
We can talk about that as part of this episode. Write it down.
I'm writing this down so we remember. Okay, carry on.
So, and I mean, I really don't know anybody as uncoordinated as I am. I've never met anybody as uncoordinated as I am. Yeah. And until
you had me.
Yeah, you're pretty good following in my footsteps.
Yeah.
Or tripping over your shoes. Yeah. But I've just had so many things. And as I said in the letter, I couldn't pass swimming, I couldn't pass advanced beginners because I couldn't dive, I couldn't play tennis. And I had lessons with all of this stuff. I couldn't ski. My sister was reminding me that I took skiing lessons and downhill and
winter skiing, yeah.
Winter skiing, right.
But you also couldn't water ski.
No, but
you could in a way.
I could in a way.
This
was in my 30s.
It's been coined as butt skiing.
So in my 30s.
You want to get up and do a demonstration?
No.
You want me to?
No.
I will. I have to. Oh, my dog's behind me.
See how much she listens to me?
For those listening, it's when you do it's like you're pretending to sit in a chair. It's pretty much how it works.
All right. Let's stay focused here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
This is you when you want me to stay focused.
Focus. So, I was very proud of myself that when I was 15 or 16...
Did you just go, focus, in a demon voice?
Yes.
How am I supposed to focus after that?
That was my demon teacher voice.
Focus. Okay. So I'm so sorry. I just need to learn to be quiet. And I won't.
Okay. So, when I was 15 or 16... We got a cottage, our camp. We call it a camp. It's a camp. And there were a bunch of new boys and girls that could all water ski. And they would go just about every day. And so I wanted to try water skiing, but I didn't have a lot of hope. Did not have a lot of hope.
Yeah, that's kind of clear from your diaries. There wasn't a lot of hope.
There wasn't a lot of hope.
A lot of hopeless romanticism.
There was that, yes. Yes, there was. So, there was a whole crew of people, say 12 people or whatever. Maybe that's an exaggeration. But, and I fell a couple of times, but eventually, that first time I tried, I got up, and my sister did not get up. And she didn't end up skiing very much.
She's going to have a comment on this.
She probably will.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing her weigh in.
But it's very rare that I would beat somebody in an athletic pursuit. So anyway, I got up, and I loved it. I really loved skiing. I could never slalom, but that means one one ski.
I do know that.
Okay.
Thank you. Are you teaching me or the
I'm telling
listener?
you.
Okay.
So,
Well, then, meanwhile, your brother was barefoot skiing.
yeah, my brother is very athletic.
Yeah.
So, I would through the years go water skiing, not a lot, but enough. And then in my 30s, all of a sudden one day I go water skiing and I could not stand up. I mean, I could get up and I was moving.
So you had been skiing really since you were in your
16.
15, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I couldn't stand up. And but I wanted desperately to water ski, so I held on as much as I could when I was scooched way down per your description.
Yeah.
And my friends started calling me the queen of butt skiing. So, anyway, that's how I skied. But I don't really think I tried skiing much after that
Well, it's
because
funny
it was just too
when
much.
I was little, I remember, I think I watched you ski once or twice because I have a vivid memory of your butt skiing in my head. Like, I can picture it all. You're like, zzz, zzz.
Holding on tight. Holding on tight. Embarrassing the heck out of myself.
Oh, God.
But doing it. And
I never really got into skiing. I did it a couple
were you able
times,
to
but
do it?
I got up once or twice, but I never did it again.
Yeah. But you went tubing and rafting and stuff.
Yeah, but tubing's not really a skill.
Well, I think it is.
You know what the skill is? Getting thrown off the tube. And getting your pants pulled down by the waves.
Oh, yeah.
Did that ever
that's a
happen to
skill.
you? The amount of times when Uncle Cam or Uncle Steve would be driving and they would whip Courtney and I around when we were like 100 pounds each, and we would fly off the tube and skid across the water and our pants would fall off. And they'd have to go pick up our pants. I keep saying pants as if we're wearing pants.
Jeans.
Yeah. Our bathing suit bottoms.
Right.
You think we would have gotten the hint that we really needed to wear a one piece if we're going to be doing anything water sports related? But no. Yeah, well, butt skiing, iconic. Now I'm kind of worried that if I were to try again now that I'm in my 30s, that I would only be able to butt ski.
Well, we're going to have to get some evidence here.
Yeah, I
You're
think
gonna
we
have to
do.
do it.
I think we need to call Uncle Steve and see if we can try to do a little butt skiing, or at least recreate. If I do, I mean, I might do great. I might get right up and I just look like a natural. Said no one ever about me. But we need to do a recreation of you and your butt ski.
A what?
You know,
Wait a minute.
recreation.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Recreatment.
Sorry, it's blue air on you. I hate that I do that. This podcast is
Blowing air? Or...
When I laugh, I go like a horse. Anywho, so are we going back to Oprah?
Okay, so back to Oprah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that, and you can see how highfalutin I was thinking I was in writing that letter. It's like I'm
Yeah.
a producer.
I know.
You know?
You actually really pitched the idea.
I really pitched
It kind of is great. That is like an elevator pitch style. Like it was
Right.
short, sweet, and got to the point. And I'm actually sold. And if I was a producer, if I worked in produce, I would make the show.
Yeah. And I just
would.
just don't know why they didn't go for it.
Yeah, I guess not.
Do you think there's a lot of closet klutzes?
Well, I don't think a lot of klutzes can be in the closet.
Because they couldn't get in.
Yeah, or they'd be stuck in there. Like, we would never see them. We wouldn't know. But I guess you can't just walk around this world and be a klutz and not have anyone see it. It's just not possible, and I'm speaking from experience. Yeah.
It's just, it really does impact your life. And the guy that asked me to dance, he kept repeatedly asking me to dance. at this bar one night, and I'm like, I can't dance. And he goes, oh, you're just saying that. And we get up and start dancing, and he stops and steps back, and he goes, you're right. You can't dance.
Wouldn't you rather someone who's not a good dancer but tried?
Yeah, well, I've always...
I don't want to be with someone who's a good dancer.
You don't? Oh, well, I don't either.
No, and Brian should be happy I said that.
This is a quote that Ozzy used to say to me, my father, and it's actually a quote by a Red Sox sports announcer from the early 1940s. His name was Jim Brett, and his quote was, and remember, if you can't play a sport, be one anyway, will ya?
Wow.
So Ozzy must have said that to me at some point, because I wrote it down.
And you really took that to heart.
I did.
I love that. We do have a very athletic family in the sense that they all excelled at sports and went to college for free because of it. Not all of them, but yeah, they're all very good, and I didn't take that path either. And I blame you.
Because I passed that on to you? Or
you passed it. I don't want to be... oh my God. I can't speak. A lot of them go running and are runners professionally, and...
Is that a sport?
Running? Aunt Kim, I know you're listening from the bathtub while you are relaxing. Can you weigh in on whether or not running is a sport? My aunt told me the other day that she's like, yeah, I love your podcast. I've been throwing it on while I relax and take a bath. And I was like, there is nothing relaxing about this podcast. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about us not being relaxing at all.
So Oprah wrote back.
Oprah wrote back? So Oprah wrote back. All right. Are you reading it?
I'll read what Oprah said. Dear Claudia, thank you for writing and watching the Oprah Winfrey Show. I value each and every one of your comments.
Yeah, closet klutz.
I wonder. Yeah, closet klutz. It is only through your valuable input that I am better able to assess the effectiveness of the show, thereby improving the content. I have forwarded your letter to the producers for further consideration. Thank you for helping make the Oprah Winfrey Show #1.
Wow.
Sincerely, Oprah Winfrey. And
wow.
purple ink. Oprah.
Did she sign this for real?
That's probably one of those pens.
Oprah. We're showing the screen for people listening. Wow. Part of that makes me depressed because it just sounds so generic.
I know.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Well, of course she just sent it. Well, she didn't read the letter. I mean, no fool's eye. But
you big
I
fool.
got a response.
Sorry.
It looks like you colored on the paper at one point.
I said no, Oprah. That's great. I kind of love the PO. Can I show the address? Mm-hmm. The lettering on that is so cool. It says the Oprah Winfrey Show, P.O. Box 909715, Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she didn't write back to me about that, and I didn't get to have a klutz makeover. That would have been very much fun, but I did get to have a credit on her television show.
I remember this like it was yesterday, seeing your name on the
screen.
Yeah, because I was like, she made it to Oprah. She did it.
A friend of mine was on Oprah, and they needed some clips of him, and I happened to have taken some clips of him a while ago, and they used a brief clip of him. I think it was teaching in the classroom, and so they gave me credit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But the funniest thing about that whole thing was the same friend was in People magazine, and the photographers came to our school to take his picture, and I was teaching at the time, and it was during study hall time, and so I had kids in study hall, and so I'm looking straight forward at my kids in study hall, and the photographers were out in the hallway. There were two of them from People magazine. And I kept looking and looking out there, and I just kind of casually said to my students, "Oh, I always wanted to be in People magazine." And a few minutes later, one of my boys says, "Hey, Miss Bonzi, just go tell him you're Mr. L's mother. I'm sure they'll believe it."
Oh, for context, this person we're talking about is your age or younger?
He's younger than I am, but
Yeah.
only by maybe a decade.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll believe it.
I'm sure they'll believe it. God, they are brutal. This is exactly why I couldn't go into teaching.
I know.
I can't handle that.
Yeah,
That's
and he said
so
it. That
funny.
student had a real Maine accent. You know, he just kind of drawled it out, and
Wow.
and so there was another teacher there that also had always wanted to be in People magazine. So we're like looking out around the corner.
You get really dressed up
And
that
then
day?
I don't. Well, I can.
You're
I
like,
can tell you.
Maybe they'll notice. Maybe they'll notice me.
I can't really show this picture at this point because I don't have permission from the friend, but
Oh, she's going through a lot. Are these seem all relevant to this?
They are.
This story too, which is, oh my god.
oh, what did I do in the picture?
Is that the moment you hit me in the face?
No,
Oh.
that's another time. I don't know what I did with the picture. Anyway,
Well, you can't show it anyways.
no. I don't know that I was particularly dressed up or whatever, but after school, she and I went out in the hallway and we were talking to these two. And of course, they weren't really photographers from People magazine. They were freelancers, and People magazine had hired them to
Yeah,
go do
yeah,
this.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. And we said, "We always wanted a People magazine photographer to take our picture. Will you do it?" And we gave them my camera.
Oh my god. That's actually amazing. So you can say a People magazine photographer took your picture. I love that.
Oh, it sounds so foolish, but we just like to have fun times and laughing and joking. I mean, it's not like I ever had my heart set on.
We just like to have fun times and laughing and joking. We love it.
But it sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah, but I feel like that's something I would do, so it's hard for me to say that sounds ridiculous. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, we took it, and
Yeah.
they took our picture.
Wow. I love that.
So
Do you now have a new
goal?
do you have a new goal to be in O magazine?
I think, you know.
Maybe this
They don't-
podcast will be on Oprah's favorites list.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
that would be a good
seems,
goal.
That seems reasonable.
I mean, it is all about relationships.
Yeah. The magazine?
No.
Or us?
I feel like
You
my
get
comments are going right by you.
Yeah, I'm
they've
not-
stopped doing a print edition.
Yeah.
They're only online.
My thoughts?
Yeah.
My comments. Oh, God. Okay. Well, that reminded me of when I was working for a shop in Portland, and I had my two friends that were my bosses technically, but we weren't that close yet as friends. And I got a message. My office was down in the basement, and there was a little shop upstairs, and I get a message on my computer. It was like, "Hillary, we need to see you upstairs." And so I went up, and they're both up there, and they're like, "You need to get in this picture with this photographer for the paper." And I was like, "What? I don't want to be in a photo for the paper." I'm like, "What the hell?"
I would have been right there. Yeah.
And then suddenly I was like, I don't know. Why am I up here? And it's the three of us. And then I get a text from my mom like a week later from the paper. And it was like, "Is this you?" "Why are you in the paper?" And it was like a huge picture. No, I do not want to be suddenly in the paper. Suddenly in the paper.
You don't mind being in the paper, you just don't want to be suddenly in the paper.
Yeah, I need some warning.
Yeah.
I need some warning. I need to think about my outfit that day. I wonder, you probably have that paper somewhere. I might.
Remember, I came across it recently and sent you a message saying, "Did you know this was in the paper?"
What was on the back of it, though?
It was
like,
online. I found it online, I think.
Oh, you sent me something recently that was like relevant to me from the paper, but on the back was like a murder case. And I was like, when I first opened it out of the envelope, I was like, why the hell did she mail this to me? This is so scary. And I flipped it around.
What's even scarier? I don't remember doing it.
I flipped it around. I was like, oh, thank God. I don't even remember what it was. She mails me stuff all the time. So, and it's usually like no note or the tiniest note that gets lost inside the envelope. And it's a newspaper clipping. Just that. It's like a rant. It seems like something a murderer would do. Like a serial killer.
Sometimes I just want to get rid of little clippings, but I can't throw them away. So I send them to you.
Yeah. Thank you. I love that.
Yeah. I know you do.
So back on our TV show train, Extreme Home Makeover. You brought that up earlier, and we went to a taping of Extreme Home Makeover, which was, okay, this was during like Prime. If you know, you know. Like, Extreme Home Makeover during a certain time period was just...
It was big.
Huge and so fun. I love any sort of home makeover, people makeover, klutz makeover, athletic makeover, is that what we call it? But we got to yell, move that bus, which was...
Several times, didn't
they?
they?
We had to yell it a few times.
They
and I remember
a few
just being
times.
like, wow, Ty Pennington looked... Paddington Bear.
No, Pennington.
Paddington Bear looked very sad.
He did. He looked like worn out that day.
Yeah. And I was like, man...
You took pictures.
It's true what they say about Hollywood stars.
Remember you took pictures? Do you have them?
I really don't know. Probably somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
But we had to hang out there all for a long time.
Yeah, we had to yell, move that bus! A lot, over and over again.
And the bus, didn't the bus pull up? Do I dream this? And then backed up and pulled up again?
Yeah, and then we had to do it again. Move that bus! Yeah, it was great. That was actually like a bucket list item I didn't even know I had on my bucket list.
Yep.
When the opportunity struck, we said, sign us up. Oh, sorry. And just slapped your boot.
That was in Millbridge, Maine.
Where is Millbridge?
Down east.
Okay.
Past Surrey, past Ellsworth.
I'm curious because I've read in recent years about how those houses were actually like not well made, and like then taxes do eventually have to be paid by the homeowners, and it's not actually like a sustainable way to help.
Yeah, I don't know how that house is faring.
Yeah, curious. We should go.
We should take a ride.
We should take a ride and see. Do you remember where it is? I don't remember. We can.
I do kind of remember where it was.
Cool. We should do that.
Yeah.
So I did write something down to talk about that reminded me of this theme of just Oprah and just, oh my God, I just came up with another thing I need to talk about. Okay, wait. I'm going to say the thing that I don't have written down first.
Okay.
So your student was on America's Next Top Model. We don't have to talk further about that, but
yeah.
That was like...
I gave her a lot of beauty tips when she was in my class.
You did? You think that's how she made it? Then why am I not on that show? Why did I never make it?
Yes, she was.
Yeah. She did get eliminated on the first episode, which was pretty sad. But recently, like, that's such a random thing, and I mean... America's Next Top Model is amazing, iconic show. Love every bit of it.
Right.
Super problematic. When you rewatch them now, you're like, whoa, yikes. But I lived for the makeover episodes. Those were my absolute favorite. But
if you'd worked for Oprah, you would have gone with my idea for a klutz makeover.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you would have thought that was innovative.
But someone recently
necessary.
Was asking me where I'm originally from, and I was like, oh, I'm from Surrey, Maine, and they were like, oh, that's where that girl from America's Next Top Model is from. And I was
isn't that interesting?
No one has said that to me before, and it's such a specific thing, but I guess it is like one of like a few small like national nods to Surrey, which is funny. But anyways, the next thing I wanted to talk about is how when I was in college, I was in school in Boston, and I met my boyfriend at the time, and he was a film major, So he had me star in his short film for his, like, I think it was like his thesis project. Like, they all had to make a short film. And so I starred in it. It was like probably a 10-minute short film, but with one of his best friends. And I had to film a sex scene with him.
What?
And and Josh filmed it. But it wasn't like let me hold on. There's no, like, clothes weren't off.
Good.
Nothing was that weird, but, like, we had to do this one, it had to allude to a sex scene, so we had to do this one thing where he would, like, climb on top of me in bed and I had to lay down, but I have these neck issues that I didn't really know about then, so I remember being like, my neck is really stuck and this feels like the least sexy thing possible. But we had to do it. Josh was like, okay, do it again, and I'm gonna get in, like, maybe touch her hair, and I'm like, this is the weirdest situation of my life. This is so weird. So anyways, that you can find that on YouTube.
No.
Yeah, we can watch it later. You want to?
No.
Well, you know.
I do not.
Okay, it's not about. Do you want to know the premise of the short film? It's not about the sex scene. The sex scene's like, stoop, stoop, and it's literally just like It looks like we're going to lay in bed, and then it's just like sheets moving.
Okay.
So there's nothing. There's nothing really
nothing
sexual
graphic.
about it.
Okay.
No way. I would not. Are you kidding me? I'm such a prude. I'm wearing a full sweater right now. Okay. But the premise of this was I'm meeting up with this guy in Boston. And we meet downtown and we're like, weather, huh? The weather really beautiful out today, huh? And it's kind of somber. And we spend it's like a whole montage of us having the best day. We go to the aquarium. We walk around Faneuil Hall. We're just like vibing. We're sitting down. We're just having the best day. I don't know if I have to kiss him in it. I can't remember. But then, like, we say bye and we're just like, oh, man, like, we have sex. And then he leaves. It shows him leaving while I'm sleeping. And then do you want me to spoil it?
Yeah, I kind of want to know what the point was.
The last scene is him crawling into bed with his wife.
Oh, no.
And guess who his wife was? My friend Renee. And it just, like, pans over and she hugs him goodnight and she has her wedding ring.
Oh, well,
and I'm just alone, sad. Because the man
I
love
go
goes
back
back
to
his
you?
wife. No. You're just left to wonder.
So was this script written by your college boyfriend?
Yeah. I think he's pretty talented.
Yep.
It actually was good.
I mean, it has a beginning, a middle, and end. Sad end.
It was sad, but it was pretty good. He was pretty good. He wrote funny. The guy in it was he did improv and acting, and he was also in the film program. So he was really good, which made me nervous because I am no actress, as we've learned when we tried to make a TikTok the other day, and I got so sweaty and angry I couldn't do it anymore. Because my mom was like, you need to do that again. You don't sound like that. That's not you. And I was like, I'm not an actress, okay?
As opposed to me.
You do pretty good. You got the ribs.
I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be Haley Mills.
Yeah, but what were you doing to actively... Oh, you were in Portland Players. Weren't you?
No.
Oh.
No, children's theater.
Oh, sorry. It's the
Children's theater, but I didn't get to play Cinderella. I had to play Cinderella's backup after midnight. So Cinderella had shoulder length blonde hair, the real Cinderella. And when the clock struck midnight, she's in her ball gown, she runs off stage that way, and then I come back this way, look at the audience, and I've got on the peasant dress. I had an identical peasant dress.
Yeah.
And go, and leave. That was...
That's your only part?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, one night I had to fill in for the fairy godmother. I was the backup for the fairy godmother. But sometimes the little kids would line up outside to get our autographs, and they thought I was Cinderella once.
Oh, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard. Oh my god. That's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah.
I always wish I did theater.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I feel like I would have loved it if I had done it. But nope. You made your students do theater.
I did.
Yeah. Dinner theater
produced,
up till the end.
I produced about 15 performances through the years with my 8th graders, and it was wonderful. It was
It's
a lot
cool
of
because
fun.
I say she made them, but like she let them fall into positions that made sense for them.
Yeah.
And like even if it was behind the scenes, then
They were
and, like,
nervous, but it was really a transformative experience for
I
for
love
most of them.
hearing about the students who were like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be good at this, and then they end up
And
being
they-
the best
yeah.
at it. I
There were
love
many. There were many instances of that.
that. Yeah, that's
Kids
really
who
cool.
there were some kids that wanted parts in different plays that I thought they'll never be able to memorize the lines. I never in all those years had a student that wasn't able to memorize the line and wasn't able to pull off the performance.
Wow,
Um,
that's so cool.
there was the Friday night performance when they showed up and they were all throwing up and backstage. They all got sick.
I forgot about that.
This would have been your class.
Yes, I remember that. So
Yeah.
I had moved at this point in with
Right.
my dad, so I wasn't actually in their class, but I think I had come for those
For the
shows.
performance,
Yeah,
probably.
to visit.
Yeah, they were showing up for the time to get in. One or the other, they'd come in and say, "I was throwing up all night, and Susie was throwing up, and Jenny was throwing up," and I'm like, "Oh my God!" So, actually, that was the Saturday night performance. We made it through Friday, and then some kind of flu hit them all, but they almost all showed up, and we had a pail backstage
A pail?
to throw up in.
For some reason in my head you were trying to say that everyone was pale because they were sick. No, it's like they were all pale backstage.
So this was way before COVID, way
Oh.
before we were thinking.
Are they still doing that?
And
Not throwing up.
I hope not. I'm not sure. I think they did a dinner theater performance of some sort. COVID stopped it for those
Oh
few
yeah,
years.
yeah.
But it
Do you
was.
think you'd ever go back just to like volunteer for a dinner theater, or are you just like there for the performance and that's it?
Doing dinner theater with middle school kids, it was wonderful. I loved it, and I didn't just do it alone. I had a lot of people that were working with me, a lot of wonderful
Yeah.
adults. But no, I don't want to. No, I don't think I'd do it again. I'm too tired. Just too tired.
You can barely do this podcast.
But I loved it. It was really fun.
Now you're just hanging out with one middle schooler, and that's
Yep.
me.
Yep.
The other day I went to my friend's house to shoot photos of her family and I do Super 8 video of families and weddings and stuff, and with now I've upgraded, but I use sometimes my mom's old camera. But she was trying to describe to her 3-year-old about me, and if he remembered me, because it had been a while since I had seen them, and she's like, you know her, she's like, she looks like an adult, but she acts like a kid. And I was like, rude, but true. Thank you. That means I'm a cool aunt.
So did he remember you then?
He did remember me, yeah. Yeah. Or he pretended to. I don't know either
Polite
way,
kid.
but yeah. We had a good time. And I did act like a kid with him. He made me go swimming, though, which was
Questionable. Did you have your bathing suit
putting on
with
a
you?
bathing. Yeah, I did actually. Oh, yeah. But so I have one. I don't know if you have other stuff to talk about, but I have another anecdote. Anecdote.
Yep, anecdote.
I'm really starting to get concerned about who I am as a person through doing this podcast and having to edit it. So recently my friend sent me an open casket. Oh my God.
Open casting
Call. I am not well.
Well,
I'm gonna need an open casket after this. Okay, open casting call. And so, I don't know what it was. I don't even know what it was for. Some sort of mystery show being filmed in Portland. And for some reason, I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm going to send in headshots. I didn't have headshots, so I just took selfies.
She's a photographer.
I just took selfie. I just did it so quick that I took selfies of myself by a window.
Did you comb your hair?
No. I did nothing. And then I was like, oh. I got, like, disappointed 2 weeks later, like, oh, they didn't choose me. And it's like, you literally sent in bad phone selfies and then wrote, I'm a photographer. What was I thinking? That's so embarrassing. Also, to do that in Maine, it's like, I know that potentially someone I know was sorting through those images.
Maine's a small state.
Which is 10 times more. What was I thinking? I'm starting to lose it. Have you had headshots done?
Once I did, not just with a friend.
That sounds like a cry for help. Was this friend a man? And was he a little creepy?
You know, when we had our book published, our trivia book.
Yeah,
which we'll talk about in another episode.
We will, and it's good.
So one of the local newspapers wanted a headshot of your sister and me. Not your sister.
I do not. How many times will we go over this in every podcast?
I don't know why I called.
I do not have a sister.
I don't know why
I do have stepsisters.
Yeah, but that's not to whom I'm referring.
Okay, to whom does it concern?
My sister and I needed to submit a shot of us together, and so we did do them. And they came out pretty well.
You shot them together?
Yes.
Why'd you say a friend earlier?
A friend shot them.
Oh, you didn't shoot them of each other?
No.
Okay. We do want to have guests, though. If anyone has any ideas for guests and how we can kind of pull in other people to this, and we would love to hear other people's diary entries or just stories, like fun stories from their past, and it doesn't have to be a specific time period, though we do love high school, middle school, college, like young. It's just, the innocence of something bad happening or like something funny happening, not necessarily bad. We don't want to get too dark on here because there's enough of that out there. So, but yeah, we would love to keep integrating other people into this and kind of figuring out
how we can broaden.
Yeah, how we can make this a better format and not just make it about ourselves because it is fun. It's fun for us, and really, like, the heart of this is to make sure I have a record of these stories that my mom has, and she has so many. The thing is, you just have so many artifacts. So it's like this woman has the receipts for everything. It's like
I got the proof.
Some of these she's told me some of these stories like years and years ago, but like I've never seen the receipts. Like I'm seeing physical receipts, literal receipts from these stories, and it's pretty wild. And I'm super excited that I get to share her in these stories with more than just me and my brother. So I asked recently if both my stepdad, her husband, my husband, and my brother have listened. My brother's listened to a couple, I'll give him that, or maybe like half of one, but my husband has not yet listened to this podcast, nor has hers, and my husband was like, I live it.
Yep.
I don't need to be listening to this in my free time. This is not it. He's very supportive and loving, and I know if I was like, I need you to listen to this, he would, but...
Yep. My husband keeps saying that he's going to listen to it, and he wants to.
But he doesn't know how.
He doesn't quite know how.
He's just a boomer, man.
But he will.
He will.
He's supportive.
Yeah. Shout out to Gil. I'm going to have to post that video. My mom sent me a 3-second video selfie of her watching my stepdad play drums at, where were you?
It was the Brewer Band.
The Brewer Band.
Town Band.
Okay, I know it sounds like we're going to end this, but I do have something just ignited in me. I'm on fire with a story. But...
Uh-oh.
Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
No.
Okay, so my stepdad has been in... This is a different... Now he's in a band with a bunch of old ladies. Little old ladies.
No, he's
I thought he was. I
He
saw
was.
him
He
play.
was in a band with a bunch of. He was in.
But
a
now
Dixie
he's
band.
not?
No, he's in the Brewer band. There's an equal number of men and women in the band.
Okay. Sorry, he wasn't a little old lady band. But before that, he was in what would you describe them? A rock
Rock
band?
and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll band. They would do a lot of covers and stuff. They had their own music too, right? Am I wrong about that?
Some.
Yeah. But so the majority of me being in high school and middle school, he was in that band. So they would get gigs at all these places. And so when I first moved back to Portland, which was like 2012, 2013, I started dating this guy. And I was like, he's so cool. He's got tattoos. And I was like, finally going to bring him to meet my mom and stepdad. So I brought him. We did like a little Bar Harbor trip. And we ended our little mini getaway at your house where we stayed. But that night, my stepdad had a rock and roll gig at a pagan prom. I don't even know how to describe what what is a pagan? Okay, listen, this is from my perspective and from my experience, in which I bring my new boyfriend that I'm just like, he's so cool. I want him to think I'm so cool. I bring him to a pagan prom. That's not the thing you do. And we show up and everyone is dressed up as, I'm sorry if this is, I don't know about pagans at all, but seemingly to me dressed up in like witch attire. And so there was a raffle going on for this pagan prom in which I was not dressed for. I'm wearing something similar to this. My boyfriend's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And I'm like, where am I? My eyes the whole time are just wide open, mouth agape. I was just like, and to set the scene, if you're from Maine, this was happening in Bangor, Maine, or Brewer, somewhere in that area, and that's all you need to know about that. And so my mom's friends had to leave early, so they said, here, take our raffle tickets. And I was like, okay.
They probably wanted to leave early.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. I immediately freaking win the raffle. Tell me why I won. And normally I would be excited about that, but when you are so out of place and like people are just actively like, I know you didn't buy those tickets and you were not here for the pagan prom. Where did you even come from? Guess what I won? Do you remember?
Something inappropriate.
I won naked pictures of pagan people that were attending the prom. They were all in the room. And the worst part is, I only won 5 photos and I had to pick them from a display of about 200. So I had to stand there with my boyfriend and I'm like, that one's nice. And I'm not allowed to laugh because if I laughed, I'm just laughing at all these nude people that are just watching me pick pictures of them. And so I picked a picture of a guy wading in the ocean. He's just wading, just standing there, nude. My favorite, though, I wish I remembered all of them, but my all-time favorite picture, I still have one of these pictures, and I know for a fact that he took one. We broke up shortly after this. But my picture I won was a woman wearing a big classic witch's hat, sitting on a kitchen counter with her legs crossed and her hands over her knees, smiling, absolutely naked, boobs out, just a naked witch. And the idea that photo is just in a box somewhere in one of my Doom ADHD bins around here, and that the idea that someone's gonna be like, I'm gonna help you clean out your house or clean up, and they're just gonna pull this naked witch photo out of this box is just too much for me to handle. And sometimes I just think, do you think he is just like, God, remember that time I dated that girl that brought me to a pagan prom and then we left with naked pictures of people that were attending that prom dressed like witches? Honestly, one of these I skedaddled so fast. I said, see you later. This is not worth it. I will be seeing Gil's band another day. I'm out. This may have ended my relationship. I think that was it for him. He broke my heart, and it's all because of a pagan prom. And you know what? Maybe the witches cursed me. Because I was showing... it's all coming together.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to talk through these things before
Wow.
you realize.
I've been hexed. I've been hexed by the witches. Honestly, it was for the best. They probably saw
You're
something
going
I
to get
did.
hexed for telling this story.
Why? I really would love someone who knows more about paganism to chime
Explain.
in and explain, because I literally know nothing. That was just my one experience. I didn't even know where I was going.
Well, right.
I was like, pagan prom, okay.
I didn't know what
Sounds
it was
weird.
all about either.
Did not know it was going to be that weird. I didn't know I was going to walk away with some nudes of the people in the room with me. I think that was maybe my best acting was picking out those photos and quickly doing a scan of the room and realizing that I'm looking these people in the face and they are actively wondering, will she choose the nude photo of me? Will she pick my nude photo? I hope she picks me. Or maybe they were like, please don't take... I hope that young girl does not take that... Like, wow. That's all I have to
What the
say.
heck?
It was a wild time. But anyways, I think I got hexed. Got hexed in a broken heart.
Hexed in a broken heart.
Hexed in a broken heart. That would be a good alternative episode name.
Yeah, it kind of veers sharply from Dear Oprah.
Dear
We
Oprah.
covered
Oprah.
a lot.
Dear Oprah. I think I got hexed by pagans at a pagan prom. Hexed by witches at a pagan prom. Help. Now that might work for the producers.
Is it? Yes.
That might work for the producers. Well, on that note,
On that note,
see you later.
bye.
Bye. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.